point estimation and how to validate it. So there would be various criteria through which we can validate a point estimator. Okay, so those things we will discuss in detail. So coming to outline of today's lecture, first I would like to discuss about sample. That means what is given thing to you? Sample. So you are having a sample. So once you are having sample, what you can do from that sample, you can define various sample statistic, or simply you can call it statistic. So statistic, it would be what? It would be just a function of the sample, what various observation of sample you observe, so that it would be function of those sample, observation of sample, simply we can call it. And you can call it, will give a specific name of this one, because we are going to perform estimation, so we will call it estimator. So those things we will discuss. Afterward I will talk about I told that I become very specific in order to estimate things, that mean or median or whatever else you want to estimate. Even we can estimate the density as well. So various things even we can estimate distribution. So various things are there to estimate. So when we do estimate, then we have to come up with some kind of estimator that happens to be one statistics, and one specific value of an estimator, we are calling it estimate of the particular thing that we are willing to estimate. So we are having a estimator, and one specific value of that estimator, we are calling it estimate. That means if you are going to estimate sample mean, then one value of that estimator sample mean, we will simply call it, it is giving a sample average, or just simple one single sample average with respect to a single observation, that we will see it here. Okay, afterward I will talk about various validation criteria. One of them is most effective is efficiency. We have to check the efficiency of the estimator, whether it is efficient or not, that we have to check it. So bias various concept will come here. Afterward I will talk about sufficiency. That means if we come up with one kind of estimator for a particular relevant thing or parameter, then can we say that is it sufficient, that estimator is sufficient to describe that? That means we don't need further estimator, just whatever we have estimated, that would be final, or do we need another estimator? So that sufficiency we will see it here. So coming to first part of the lecture, that sample and what is sample and what is sample estimate, or sample what we call it statistic. So here I will define statistics, and I will call it estimator as well. There is no estimator is what you can say that if statistics a very larger class, then estimator is just a small segment of that larger class. That I would like to say that. So you can simply we can say that what is a statistics? Statistics is it is a function of observable random variables. That means whatever sample we observe, so as much observation we may have of a sample of particular size, and then we can define various statistics based on that. That means simply why we are observing sample. Simple question you may ask, why we are observing sample? Because we have a random variable whose distribution we don't know. That means we are having a sample, we don't know from which source that distribution is coming, or that data is coming. We don't know, that source is unknown to us. So we are having x, we don't know the source. What we do? So we perform various observation of this one. So one observation, that means x1, second observation x2, likewise it will go on. So you can say that it is if you are taking n copies of x, this x, and everywhere we don't know the distribution, and we have taken just n copies of same x, and what is happening, that we are saying that it is what, it is several various observation of a sample of size n. Each time you will have n number of points, n number of point of x. So that's where you are getting n number of observed value of x. That's where you are getting observation of x with sample size n. Okay, and you can define various function of these x size. So those various function we will call it statistic. Why? Because these are what? Random variable. Xi's are again random variable. So function of these actually coming from the sample perspective. So that's why function of these, simply we can't call it directly random variable. Definitely it would be in term of random variable. It is, but it is having a specific name that we are calling it statistics or sample statistics. Okay, what are those example? One example we can call it sample mean, another example we can call it sample variance, another example we can call it minimum. So various things are there to define with respect to given observation of sample of size n. I'm always saying that size n, that sample size may be anything, so sample of size n. So here various statistics we can define it like here. Okay, so what we why we are defining, so what we are defining like that statistic can be used to estimate a population parameter. What are those population parameter? It may be some mean, it may be variance, it may be proportion, various things are there. So in this case we will call the statistic, it is an estimator of the concern parameter. That means if your concern parameter is mean, that means a sample mean would be the estimator of the mean. Okay, so sample simply what we call sample statistics are used to estimate population parameter. What are those examples? Such example is x bar. That what is the notation of x bar? X bar always we call it it is a sample mean that we define it by those observation of the sample of size n. So it will go like this way, xn. So easily we can see that each x size happens to be a random variable, and we are summing n number of random variable and dividing by n, and hence we can say that x bar is a function of this x size, the copies of x. Okay, so it is a what? It is again a statistics. And what kind of statistic? It is a sample mean kind of thing. So this sample mean, it is an estimator of mu. Mu is our what? Population mean, desired parameter that we want to estimate, because we can't calculate it, what we can't compute it, we can estimate it. So that's where x bar would be a an estimator of mu. So every statistic is having a distribution. So in that process, if you try to talk about distribution of x bar, then in central limit theorem you had already seen that the cumulative distribution function of sample mean was converging to cumulative distribution function of a standard normal random variable when sample size is going to infinity. That means it is not directly saying the actual distribution of x bar, that we name it sampling distribution. It is saying that the distribution of x bar can be approximated by Gaussian distribution. So that approximation I'm talking it here. So this line you can simply compare with central limit theorem. So that's why I cover central limit theorem and law of large number prior to this one estimation process. Okay, so it might be clear to everyone. So sampling distribution of x bar can be approximated by Gaussian distribution of a standard normal random variable with the help of central limit theorem. Okay, now I'm coming to more specific, that estimation and estimator. What is this? So here I told that what is the estimator, and one specific value of estimator we will call it estimate. So an estimator, simply you can consider it is a function that maps a random sample to some parametric estimate or estimate of parameter. Generally estimate of parameter, it happens to be estimator, we will call it estimator. Like our parameter of concern is theta, and we want to estimate theta with the sample. So, and the corresponding estimator of theta we will define it by capital theta, because capital theta estimator would be a random variable. So capital theta, and we will see then when this capital theta will converge to this parameter actual theta, that we will talk about. So this capital theta hat, we are calling it, it is an estimator of the concerned parameter theta. Okay, and how we do estimate? For that we are taking a various sample of observation n. So these are the sample. So this capital theta, it would be a function of these xi's, and hence we can say that estimator is again a random variable. It is a random variable, function of random variable. So again, a random variable. For example, if we consider x n observation of sample size n of any distribution, that distribution is unknown to us, then an estimator is an sample mean. How we can define? So this is the estimator. This is the estimator. We are deriving it from this sample. That means various observation of sample size, and we have taken we are denoting by this xi, okay, copies of x, and from there we are defining sample mean. So an estimate, so here we have taken notation a small theta hat. So it is estimate, it is thus what it is the result of applying the estimator function to an observed value of x size. So a small x size, it is denoting one a specific value of x size, one, so one particular value of observed value of a sample. So a particular sample, it would be a single sample. Simply I would like to say that it would be a single sample, and hence we can say that estimate, it would be this small theta hat, it would be function of this observed value. Thus this simple observed value, that means it is a single it is talking about a single sample, not all the possible sample of size n. It is talking about a single specific sample, it is talking about of size n, it is talking. So that's why it is in a single number. It is not a, this a small theta hat is not a random variable, it is just one observed value of capital theta hat. So that's why we are calling it theta, a small theta hat. It is an estimate of theta. For example, we can say that suppose we are having a single sample of size n, a single observation, okay, single observation of size n. Then we can say that sample mean, we will denote it by small x bar. It is what? Yes, it is a single number. Simply this a small x bar, it is a number, and this capital X bar, it is a random variable. That you can say that. So a small x bar, you can say that it is just one single observation of capital X bar, one single object. As a x bar, capital X bar is a random variable. That's why a small x bar is a what, a single observation of capital X bar. So now we are coming to describe about criterion for validating right choice of estimator. So I had already discussed about estimator. I will say that when our estimator would be a right estimator or right choice, that criterion I will discuss. So there are many. Yes, yes. Okay, okay. Am I audible right now? Okay. Okay, so there are many estimator of, simply if you are having single theta, we can come up with many estimator. So like one, you want to estimate uh, uh, variance like sigma square variance with. So this variance we can estimate through various estimator. One estimator is what? Simply we define it by sample mean, like this way. We sum it like this way, xi minus xi bar. We are taking sample mean, xi bar sample mean, and here we can define uh, we can divide it by 1 by n. But this estimator, this it is a what? It is a sample variance. But this estimator is not a good estimator, it is a bias estimator. So we have to define a better estimator. That would be, it would be 1 by n minus 1 times, okay, sigma x size varies from, I varies from 1 to n. What is sample size? It would depend upon that. Xi minus x bar whole square. Okay, I varies from 1 to n. So here you had already seen that for a single term variance, that single parameter variance, you are having two estimator. Even various right, likewise you can define various estimator of a variance. Likewise also you can define various estimator of a mean. So there would be various estimator for a single parameter. Okay, so natural question will arise, among those estimator which one is the better? which one is the better, that you have to infer it. So how you can infer it? So we can infer it by uh, four validating performance. Okay, the one is, we are calling it unbiasedness. First we have to check the unbiasedness of the estimator. What is meaning of unbiasedness? I had already discussed. I will define all this. That means if you are coming with one estimator, call it capital theta hat, and if we are finding the mean of the capital theta hat and it is equal to theta, that true parameter, then we can say that the corresponding estimator is unbiased. Okay, then next criteria is efficiency. Whatever estimator we come up with for theta, then do it, is it efficient? Then that efficiency we have to check it, and efficiency we check it with respect to certain loss function or criterion function. Generally those function happens to be norm oriented function, norm kind of p norm kind of function. And p norm, I had at some point of this course I have already described what is p norm, and that it is just generalized distance what we are calling it. Then again we have to talk about sufficiency, whether if you come up with one estimator that is just sufficient to describe the uh, uh, given describe the specific parameter or not, that one is sufficient or not. So that sufficiency we have to discuss. Like I told that sample mean is sufficient to describe mean of the data, or mean of the population, simply sufficient. Sample mean is a sufficient kind of estimator, simply we are calling for mean. Okay, and fourth we will talk about consistency. That means when our sample size is going to infinity, we are talking about asymptotic nature. When sample size is going to converge to infinity, then what kind of criteria the estimator will have, whether it is going to converge to parameter or not, that consistency we are, whether it is consistent or with that large sample size or not, that we will discuss. So coming to that again, further description of unbiasedness, I told that an unbiased estimator, capital theta hat, we call it, it is an unbiased if expected value of this estimator capital theta is equal to a true value of the parameter theta. Theta is the true value that is unknown to us. That means mean of the population happens to be true parameter, and we don't know what is the true mean of the population, that mean height. We don't know true mean height of the people, all people. Okay, so that is a true thing. And if what happens that if we are finding the expectation of the estimator, and if that is one is equal to a true value of theta, then we claim that our estimator is unbiased estimator. It is not biased, it is unbiased estimator. Second thing, that one example here I have taken. So again you are taking several observation of size n, that means n copies of same distribution x from the same source x, same and copies of same x from the same distribution, unknown distribution. And simply you are saying that several observation of sample size n. Then from here we can define estimator like sample variance, sample mean. This one is sample mean, this one is sample variance, we are calling it sample variance. This so easily we can see that if you are finding the expectation of this sample mean, it is equal to the true mean. So we can say that this sample mean is an unbiased estimator. Simply also if you are finding the expectation of sample variance, then sample variance, expectation of sample variance is equal to true variance, true variance. So we can say that this sample variance defined like this way, 1 by n minus 1. This we are calling it Bessel correction. So here we are not taking n, we are taking one kind of correction. So due to that if you are finding expectation of this s square, it is equal to sigma square, and hence we can say that here s square, that sample variance happens to be an unbiased estimator of variance. So that's why there are various estimator, you will see. Now I will talk about next part, that efficiency. So efficiency, or simply we can if you are talking about efficiency, then you have to come with some kind of criterion function. So one approach is coming directly from mean square error. So mean square error, that means definitely there are various copies of x. Okay, so each copy will define, in that each sample point will define an error. So with respect to all these sample point, we have to define single, we have to single out uh, the error. So that's why we are finding mean, and we do a squaring of, before finding mean we are doing a squaring of the error. So that's why mean square error is coming here. So efficiency and estimator is efficient if it estimates the parameter of interest in some best way. So that best way we will see it, that when mean square error is very less, then we will say that it is best doing. Which one is having lesser mean square error, that would be better one. So, okay. Okay, any question? So the notion of best way, it will rely on the choice of loss function. So norm oriented loss function, I will take it here. So the usual choice of loss function, it happens to be quadratic loss. That means we are taking quadratic loss means that norm we are taking L to norm, L to norm or Euclidean norm, that you have already seen in Euclidean high school. That means what in Euclidean geometry the distance concept is defined, that happens to be L to norm, or simply you can say that 2 norm. And if you are defining efficiency with respect to L to norm, then we will get mean square criterion. And what is the what is the optimal value? That least value. Least value. We are always willing to find least value of the mean square error for better efficiency. Least value. So we are defining mean square error like this way. That means this capital theta hat is the estimator of theta. That one is true thing, that unknown to us, we don't know that. Okay, so we first find this one. If you come up with theta hat, then this one is what, it in estimator of theta. So we take difference. So difference will give what, it will give the error. We do a squaring. After that we are finding expectations. So that's why it justifies the name mean square error. That means we are finding the mean of a square of error. So mean square error. So we further decompose it into various part. That's, so we are decomposing it like this way. We know that we are decomposing it like this way in order to see the concept of biasness or unbiasedness. So we are introducing here term expectation of theta hat. So why, if suppose your theta hat is an unbiased estimator, then this would be equal to theta. So there simply it would be very easy to proceed with. It will take a very simple kind of notation that becomes variance of estimator. It becomes variance of estimator if it is unbiased estimator. That variance we want to see it. So that's way. So if you try to further simplify it, it will be decomposed into two terms. We can say that this we are calling it variance of the estimator. You can call it, it is what, variance of estimator capital theta hat. Capital theta hat. And what is this one? This one we are calling it bias. If it is non-zero, then corresponding estimator, if it is this expectation of theta hat is not equal to theta, then we call it theta, capital theta hat, it is in a bias estimator. So that's why what is the bias is the difference between expectation of estimator and true value of theta. So bias square. So we have decomposed mean square error into variance of this theta hat estimator and bias of the theta hat. So we call this decomposition various bias decomposition. And there is a very interesting kind of concept, like you can talk a lot about various bias trade-off. So if you have to see which one is increasing, then which one is decreasing. So anyhow you try to decrease the value, anyhow, in order to decrease the mean square. You want to get an optimal value of mean square error, you have to play with this trade-off, various bias. So a bias estimator can have a lower mean square error than an unbiased estimator. It may possible that it is also possible is that we know that for unbiased estimator, here you can observe in mean square error what is happening, that it has been decomposed into two terms, variance and bias. So what has happened, that suppose so it is not like that always unbiased estimator would have what less mean square error. It is not like that. Here we know that in the unbiased estimator this would be zero. There is no contribution from biased term in case of unbiased estimator, but main role is played by this variance of the estimator. So that's way, based on the variance of estimator, you can decide which one is the best estimator, irrespective of biasness and unbiasedness. So you have to look into, so try to minimize the variance of estimator, which one is having the least variance, that would be more effective estimator. Okay, so the most efficient estimator among a group of unbiased estimator is the one which is having the smallest variance. Same thing I would like to say, that variance of estimator is very important concept. Now I'm taking one example here, we will see it. So now we can compare estimators and select the best one. For example, consider we are having three estimator of a uh, distribution of data whose distribution is unknown to us. That's why we are coming we come up with three estimator with different distribution. So there are three estimator. Estimator one is having uniform distribution, estimator two is having this kind of distribution. It is not a Gaussian distribution, it is very near to that. We can say that it is non-Gaussian, we can say non-Gaussian distribution. Estimator 3 is having a Gaussian distribution. So if you try to see from the picture, so easily we can say that we here find the mean of you can call, denote it, this one is capital theta hat, cap, capital theta 1 hat. This you can denote it capital theta 2 hat. This you can denote capital theta 3 hat. Okay, all the three estimator you are having. Now anyone can answer that which one is the bias estimator and which one is the unbiased estimator? Anyone? From the geometry, I have already plotted the geometry. Anyone may comment over it? No answer? Just see the plot. And what is the criteria of being biased and unbiased? That means you have to find the mean of the corresponding estimator. Find the mean of capital theta 1 hat. What is that? From the geometry, I haven't given that explicit form of distribution of all these estimator. I'm just talking about here graphical picture of that. From the graph, what is the mean of theta 1 hat? Anyone would like to comment? What is the mean of theta 1 hat? See the pattern of the graph. What is the mean of theta 1 hat? Anyone? Are you able to listen me? No. Janardhan, would you like to answer? What is the mean of theta 1 hat? The density plot is already visible to you. Until now, everyone is having idea how to calculate, how to visualize mean or expectation. Any other would like to answer? Yes, one. Are you listening me? Anyone? Just try to answer it. Okay, fine. If you don't want to answer, it's fine. So here simply I would like to say that here this is uniform theta 1 in theta 1 hat is having uniform distribution. Easily we can see that it is symmetric about theta. That means 50% is in the right hand side and 50% is in the left hand side. So easily we can conclude that theta 1, what is the mean of theta 1 hat? It is equal to a small theta, that true parameter. What does it say? It simply say that theta 1 hat is, it is an unbiased estimator. Now you will find second mean, that one is mean or expectation of theta 2 hat. What is the mean or expectation of theta 2 hat? Anyone would like to answer? Capital theta it would be. Capital theta 2 hat. If you see the density plot of theta 2 hat, easily we can conclude that mean of theta 2, again it would be equal to theta. If you try to visualize clearly, observe clearly, the mean of theta 2 hat would be again theta. So that means theta 2, the second estimator, is also an unbiased estimator. Now we look for third estimator. So easily we can see that in the third estimator, where is the mean? It is Gaussian in nature. Mean would be here. Here, mean would be here. So this one is totally deviated from actual theta. So we can say that here mean of theta 3 hat is not equal to theta. What does it mean? It simply says that theta 3 is a bias estimator. It is not equal to theta. So theta 3, so you can say that theta 3 is an bias estimator. Okay, so unbiased bias estimator, both kind of estimator we have already seen geometrically. So I will talk about which one is efficient. So if you just compare among the unbiased estimator, anyone would like to answer among the unbiased estimator theta 1 and theta 2, which one would be the better? Who would like to answer which one would be the better? So what is the criteria through which you can compare that? For that criteria, you have to see the variance of estimator. You have to look for variance of estimator. See variance of theta, capital theta 1 hat, and see the variance of capital theta 2 hat. Which one is larger? Which one is smaller? A smaller one will be better one. Which one is having a smaller variance would be better one. Which one is having a smaller one? No answer. See it, everything is here all. Yes, yeah. Yeah. Which one? Oh, yeah, two. You answered two. Yeah, very fine. Two is having less variance than one, so that's where two is a better estimator among theta one and theta two. I'm not talking about theta three. Theta capital theta three is bias estimator, so that's where little bit haziness would be there. Okay, so here usually we can see that theta one, this one and two are unbiased estimator, and three is what? Bias estimator. Bias, that means positively biased. It is positive. It in right hand side. The mean of theta 3 is in right hand side of theta. That's why positively biased. Okay, there are various ways. So the variance we will see decreases from 1 to 2. So that 2 is having lesser variance than 1, and 3 is having least variance. So we can say that from the variance perspective, we can say that if bias is very small, that bias of theta it happens to be very small, then we can say that theta 3 is having the least variance, and hence we can say that it is the better one. But we don't know actual value of the bias, so we can't commit much here. So and we just commit what compare unbiased estimator together and bias estimator together. So among the unbiased estimator 1 and 2, 2 is the better one. 2 is the better one. 2 is more efficient than 1. Why? Because 2 is having less variance. So here we can put a sign. 2 is having least variance, and if you see that 3 is having the least variance among these three. This one is having 3 variance, but there is an issue with 3 is that theta capital theta 3 hat, it is bias. So some contribution in the mean square error is coming from biasness of the that one. So that's why we can't compare 3 with 1 and 2. We can compare 1 and 2 together, but 3 we can't compare. So there is little bit issue with if this kind of efficiency approach. Okay, due to that variance bias trade up, so we have to define few more efficiency technique. So okay, so those things we will discuss in next class. Actually, I didn't come up with that slide in today's lecture.